Hello, my name is Robert Hollman. I've written some books for students on Texas heroes. I wrote these books to encourage my grandchildren to quit playing video games and to read about history. These books are written in such a way as to make history fun for the students. They can learn the facts about these people but enjoy reading about it at the same time. The first of these books is on Davy Crockett. Davy Crockett was one of the best known and best loved figures of his time. In this book, 3 students are given the assignment to write a story on Davy Crockett. They go to the Alamo, and in a building in the back they find the ghost of Davy Crockett. He takes them back to his time, and they live through his life with him, through the Indian Wars, through his time in Congress, through coming to Texas, and finally through the siege of the Alamo, before they are transported back to the present day. The second book is on Jim Bowie. Jim Bowie was a famous frontiersman of his time. He carried the knife which still bears his name. This book is told by a dog. A little puppy is pulled out of the swamp by Jim Bowie before an alligator eats it, so Jim Bowie names him Gator. Gator is now telling his grandkids about Jim Bowie. He tells about the way Jim Bowie earned his reputation as a great knife fighter, about his coming to Texas and searching for silver and gold mines, about marrying a beautiful lady there in San Antonio, who was the daughter of a prominent member of the San Antonio Society, of Jim Bowie getting involved in the Texas Revolution and fighting in the early battles, and finally moving into the Alamo when Santa Anna's army appeared, where Jim became very sick and spent most of the battle lying on a bed there in the Alamo. The next book in the series is on a man who is not as well known, but who played a great role in the Texas Revolution, Juan Seguin. Juan Seguin was the son of a prominent Texas rancher close to San Antonio. This book is told by his friend Pablo Gomez, who is now an old man and is telling the story of Juan Seguin to a newspaper reporter. It tells of their boyhood together, of growing up to join the Texas Revolution when Santa Anna approaches, of Juan raising a company of scouts to scout Santa Anna's approach and later leads them into the Alamo. Juan is sent out as a messenger by William Travis to bring more reinforcements to the Alamo. It tells of their perilous ride through the enemy lines, of their meeting with Sam Houston where he asked for more men, Sam Houston's refusal to let Juan return to his friends in the Alamo, and later of Juan's fight with Sam Houston's army at the Battle of San Jacinto, where they defeated Santa Anna. Juan keeps his word to his friends and returns to the Alamo to bury the ashes of the defenders. The next book in the series is on a young lady, Susanna Dickinson. This book is told by Patty the Rag Doll. An attic full of toys comes alive at midnight, and one of the toys, a toy soldier who has just come to the attic, is taken to Patty so she can tell the story of the Alamo to him. It tells of Susanna's growing up in Tennessee, of her meeting and marrying Almiron Dickinson, of their travels to Texas and setting up life in Gonzales, of the beginning of the war there, where Almiron joins other men to defend a cannon that was given to them by the Mexican government when troops come to take it back, of the flag they had with a picture of the cannon and the words "Come and take it" underneath it. Susanna and the other women waited in some woods and listened to the battle until Almiron and the others drove the enemy soldiers back to San Antonio. The men decide to go to San Antonio to drive the enemy out of Texas. Susanna stays in Gonzales until she is assaulted in her home by 2 men. She is saved by a neighbor and moves to San Antonio to be with Almiron. She moves into the Alamo when Santa Anna nears, and she moves into a small room there with the other women and children. She stays there for most of the next 13 days while the battle rages around her. After the final assault, she is taken before Santa Anna, who offers to take her daughter to Mexico and raise her there, but Susanna refuses. He gives her $2 and a blanket and tells her to go find Sam Houston and tell him what happened at the Alamo. Susanna does this, and this leads the Texans to vow revenge on Santa Anna, which they later get at the Battle of San Jacinto. The next book in the series is on William Travis. William Travis was the commander of the troops at the Alamo. One of the most famous stories of the Battle of the Alamo is Travis drawing a line in the sand and asking the men who will stay and fight with him to cross over the line. This story is told by the other member of that story, Trusty, his sword. Trusty is now in a dusty old basement, and a group of mice come and hide in there to escape from a cat. They find Trusty, and he tells the story of William Travis to them, of his growing up in South Carolina, of his move to Texas, and his adventures before the war in Texas. How later he goes to San Antonio and is appointed as the commander of the troops there in the Alamo. After they move into the Alamo, he sends out messengers trying to get reinforcements for his troops. It goes on to the final story of him drawing the line and asking the men to cross the line, and then to the final battle where Travis dies along with the other men there in the Alamo. And the final book in the series is on the Alamo itself. In this book, a student group is taking a tour through a museum. Two students, Jimmy and Nancy, wander off and go into a room where new exhibits are being prepared. They get locked in and the tour leaves them for the night. During the night, a statue of Lady Texas comes alive and takes them back to San Antonio in 1836, where they view the events that are happening. They see Juan Seguin scouts watching the enemy army cross the Rio Grande. They watch as Bowie and Travis prepare for the defense of San Antonio and the Alamo. They watch as the people of San Antonio move into the Alamo when Santa Anna appears in town. They are there during the 13 days of the siege and watch the events happen, including Davy Crockett and John McGregor taking out their fiddle and their bagpipes and having contests to see who can play the loudest to keep up the spirits of the tired defenders. Finally, they watched the final climactic battle, where men became heroes and heroes became legends. If you're interested in purchasing these books, you can get them online at Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com, or you can order them from your favorite bookstore if they don't carry them. If you'd like, you can go to my website, LoneStarLegends.org, and they can be ordered from there. I hope that you will want to look at these books and get them for your children or your grandchildren or even for yourself so that you can learn about Texas history and enjoy doing it. Thank you for stopping by.